Before you get into this video, be sure you've seen John Wick Chapter 4. You don't care about spoilers because I will be spoiling John Wick Chapter 4. Got it? So time to go back with another video. I'm Strange Wang, and today I will be talking about that boy Jonathan Wick and his 4 movies, and I'll be ranking all of them. Before we get into this, that thanks button underneath this video, donate some money to us. We're worth it, I promise. Tell us we're doing a good job. Donate some of that Bob De Niro. It's greatly appreciated. And if you don't want to do that because you don't think we're worth it, I kind of understand. But subscribing is free. So if you could subscribe for us, that'd be phenomenal. Coming in at number 4 is going to be John Wick Chapter 2. John Wick Chapter 2 is a great film. I just feel like the pacing in that film is much slower than the other ones, and the expectation, the high of the first one, that's not really what you wanted, but it does a very important thing, and it does that important thing very well, and that is world building. It builds this incredible world we know and love today, and without John Wick 2, we wouldn't have so much detail and intimacy with this world to really suck you into it. The script does a great job with that. The reason why it's my number 2 spot, because you have this big rivalry with Common. I guess the professional courtesy was a courtesy, and he's like, I ain't gonna fuck with you no more, because that's the last we see of Common. How unfortunate. But the action sequences they're fine, you know. There's better gun fu in the first film. You do have that really good scene of him and Common walking through the subway, and the subway scene is very good as well. But John Wick Chapter 2, just a little slow because of the world building, and I feel like pacing wise, it's a little teensy weensy issue, but it's a great film nonetheless. The newest film in the John Wick franchise, John Wick Chapter 4, is going to be my number 3 in the John Wick franchise because it shares a lot of the same action styles from 3 and obviously the first one, but it doesn't, that from the action standpoint, this film doesn't do anything really original, minus one scene with some nunchucks. You have a great pacing for this film as well. It felt like I was in this movie an hour, and the film's much longer than an hour, I assure you. I got out the theater, I was like, God damn, why? Looked up, I was like, what? There's no way I went in there at 1 o'clock, and I'm leaving at 5 o'clock. It didn't make any sense, strange way, but the pacing in it was phenomenal. It does leave you with couple questions, a couple undesirable questions. You're like, oh, I'm wondering where this character is or this character, and you don't get payoff on the Halle Berry storyline or the Common thing. And the tracker, nobody, not a huge fan of that character, not because he didn't do a great job or anything like that. It's just Halle Berry, you kind of stole the dog thing from her. Nobody, I saw that movie a few years ago, but his motivation and his acting, phenomenal, great, love that. I just wish they would have added more originality to the character. So when this character is introduced, I'm not... Bob Odenkirk did that. A dog biting people? Oh, I've seen that in John Wick 3. If you would have changed up the gimmick, it would have made that character more original. And that originality would have helped this movie because we've already seen this stuff. But John Wick Chapter 4 is amazing. It's a perfect encapsulation to the John Wick franchise. Just let the man die happy. You know, he's thinking more about mortality. How's this thing going to end? He wants it to end, and then he just wants to go home. And for him, home is to be with his wife, buried next to her, loving husband on the tombstone. You really get a sense of mortality from John Wick. And John Wick Chapter 4 spits a lot of real life game. There's lines in here that I was like, man, this movie has a lot of life lessons in it. You know, little details and life lessons, everything. The acting's great. Everything good about the John Wick franchise continues in John Wick Chapter 4. But it just isn't as original as the other three. The other three bring their own things to the table. And this film, I feel like it just said, I'm ballsy and I won't let John Wick die the way he should. And you get that. And it's great. We have a great ending to this franchise. Here at Sonotopical, we're unfortunately poor. And this money you see on screen, that's CGI. That's not real money. Because again, we're poor. So if you want to click in the ad eye in the corner, that video is monetized and we can make money off it. So please go watch it.
And if you click an ad, we make more money. And if you really want to help, there's the thanks button right there below this video.
Coming in my number 2 spot, it can only be 2 films. Which one is it? Is it John Wick 3 or John Wick? It is going to be John Wick. The first one, because this what started it all. The action in it was like none other at the time. You could argue, you know, the gun fu thing was shown in the Matrix a little bit, but not to this level, not to this extent. And because of that, this movie blew up. Everyone needed to go see it. Everyone was talking about it. And there's not a lot of movies like that from the 2000s. I mean, not 2000s, the 2010s. You know, movie theaters slowly going away. But this was a movie that everyone was talking about. Everyone had to go see. Started the franchise on such a high note with a simplistic story that everyone could understand, action that everyone could get excited for, and a cast that was just great and lovable. William Dafoe always going to put on a great performance. Keanu Reeves, everyone loves Keanu Reeves. You know, he's not the greatest actor, but he does what he does very well. And because he does his own stunts and went through the training and whatnot, does most of his own stunts and went through the training and whatnot, it made the action scenes even better because that means the choreography could be better. This film also has Kevin Nash. I'm a wrestling fan and I love Secret of the Ooze. He was Super Shredder. He's in this movie. So this movie brings nothing but good shit to the table, and it stands the time to be one of the best action films of all time. Number 1 is John Wick Chapter 3 Parabellum, because what else could it be? This, in my opinion, takes the franchise as a whole and says, what are we known for? World building, because that's what number 2 was, and action, because that's what number 1 was. Let's make the action 50% in this movie, and let's make the world building 50% in this movie, and let's blend it to perfection. That's exactly what they do. You have action sequences with axes, throwing knives, animals, books. Gun fu obviously is in this film. You just have the best action sequences of the franchise, in my opinion. The variety of action sequences that you get into with John Wick Chapter 3 is incredible. You get wrestling, you get swords, the other stuff I mentioned. So you take all of that variety and throw it in there. Every action scene is going to feel fresh. The world building, it's not slowing the movie down because you have all these great action sequences mixed in with the world building. And the world building is also very, very good. We get introduced to a lot of new characters. You get to see how wide the world really is for the John Wick franchise. You get to learn more about John Wick, and that fleshes out that character, so you understand why he is the way he is. It adds tension to relationships, and you really think, I don't know, John Wick's going to make it out alive at the end of that third act, because of how far this movie goes to show you this world and how big it is, and how many people want to see John Wick dead. So, all that mixed into a pot, and I think you have the best John Wick film of the franchise, in my opinion. But let me know what you think in the comment section below. Scroll back up, hit the like button, share the video, and most importantly, please subscribe.